It's radical, it is expensive, and in Wisconsin, it will be the law of the land. Expensive and radical. Remember those words. Today, Republicans in the state Senate rammed through their highly restrictive voter ID bill. The measure requires voters to show a voter ID when they're heading to the polls, and you know who it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt the young, the poor, minorities. In other words, groups who typically vote Democratic. That's who it's going to hurt. And with the recall effort well underway, no wonder the GOP needed to get it passed as quickly as possible. It happened this morning. Senate Republicans limiting the debate to just 1 hour. Democratic State Senator Fred Risser, the longest-serving state legislator in the nation, was speaking to the difficulties voters would face under this law. And Republican State Senate President Mike Ellis cut him off. Watch.
In addition to the residency required and a signing requirement, we send
from the Senator from the 26th. We have about 15 seconds left. Would you conclude your comments?
Mr. President, I was recognized by the previous president to speak, and I want to discuss this. And
11 o'clock, have you arrived? Shut up. The question before the House is concurrence. The clerk will call the roll.
Senator Carpenter.
Keep
Cogs.
Going. You're out of order. Take your seat.
Cullen.
Continue the roll call.
Cullen.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Erpenbach. Fitzgerald.
Continue the roll call.
Kapanke. Kedzie. Larson.
You're interrupting a roll call. You're out of order. Continue the roll call.
The bill passed 19-5. Ellis announced the bill's passage before some Democrats even voted. Governor Scott Walker tweeted his approval over the bill's passage and will sign it into law next week. Joining me now, as promised, are Wisconsin State Senators Lena Taylor and Fred Risser. Thanks to both of you for joining us tonight. Pretty amazing tape. Senator Risser, I want to start with you. In the soundbite that we just played, you said, in 50 years, I have never had anyone cut me off. Does that speak to just how bad things have gotten in Wisconsin?
Well, we have a tradition in Wisconsin, Ed, to allow even the minority to talk once in a while. And I can't ever remember anyone, either in the minority or majority, ever being cut off by the presiding officer in the middle of his comments. This really was a terrible day for Wisconsin. You know, we have a tradition in Wisconsin of making it easy for people to vote. This bill was a voter suppression bill. And not only does it require the photo ID, but it changes the rules as far as absentee ballots are concerned. It increased the residency by almost 3 times. It treated students differently. There was a lot to this bill that never met the eyes of the general public.
Yeah. Senator Risser, let me play a soundbite for you. This is the news conference that Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald held right after the vote. Here it is.
I am not sure who's in the room right now, if it's all credentialed media or not.
Is it meant to open the public, sir?
Yeah, I'm concerned about that, I guess.
Oh, well, you should be.
Yeah, I'm concerned about that.
It's unfortunate.
What about the precedent of interrupting a senator who's been standing for 50 years?
So Republicans are tough in the chamber. When they have to face the public, they walk away. In your long career, Senator Risser, have you ever witnessed this kind of behavior?
No. And that's what makes it such a sad day for Wisconsin, because we have a tradition of democracy in our state. And the Republicans are just very impatient. Their impatience on trying to eliminate workers' rights has resulted in their bill being put into court. I wouldn't be surprised if this bill goes to court.
Senator Taylor, give us the nuts and bolts of all of this. Republicans claim that this bill helps prevent voter fraud. That's not really the case, is it?
Not at all. It's not a voter ID bill. They've done another twist of words here. They said the first bill was a budget repair bill to fix the budget, and it was a bill that destroyed workers' rights. This bill is not a voter ID bill. It's a voter restriction bill. What they do is, like what Senator Risser said, they put new timelines in on how long you have to live before you can get an absentee ballot. They also put in restrictions where you have to sign a poll list. This is back like Dred Scott days. holidays, you know, and in addition to that, they put in other requirements that will affect not only the people that you stated, but also seniors and the homeless. If you can't say that that's your permanent residence, if it's a temporary residence, then your ballot will be considered not valid. There are a number of issues.
Yeah, Senator Taylor, let me ask you, what does this mean for the recall? What kind of effect is this going to have on the recall?
The 28-day period, almost three times the amount of time a person has to live in the state, it will have an effect on the recalls in that sense. However, they gave us some procedural issues here, and I think you're right. The NAACP or someone will more than likely file suit because of the procedural issues that happened today and potentially the poll tax that's in place for the poor. Even though the IDs will be free, they can't afford a birth certificate, then it's still considered a poll tax based on the Supreme Court that happened in Missouri. So, you know, this won't have full effect on the recalls if it's in court, and also because all of the pieces don't go in effect by the recalls. But I'll tell you, we've got 6 candidates for the recall, 5 women, strong candidates, and the momentum is going, and they keep giving us more. They're the gift that keeps giving. They keep the people inspired to want to change their faces.
You bet. Wisconsin State Senators Lena Taylor and Fred Risser, thanks for joining us tonight. Appreciate it so much.